Have you ever noticed with the products you love most that the more popular they become, the worse they get? Well, there's a reason why, and that reason is this: the law of the marginal user. This is Google Podcasts. It is what I used to listen to my podcast on. Why used to? Well, because this is just a screenshot. As the app got popular, Google killed it, and they added it to the Google graveyard of things that they discontinued. This is the browser I've been using for the last 3 years. It's called Arc, and I love it. And now that it got quite popular, the company behind it just stopped working on it to build something else. Or even Facebook. When I signed up back in the day, it was the shit. But now, 3 billion users later, is where content goes to die together with boomers enjoying AI slop. And this is weird. I mean, if something becomes more popular, then they should have more resources and then can improve it even more. But the exact opposite happens. Now, you've probably heard the word "enshittification," where tech products that were once truly revolutionary become more expensive as the company behind them try to monetize. Well, this is not it. This is something different. But the law of the marginal user doesn't just tell us how the things we love turn terrible as they become popular, but also how in the end, the fault is yours. So let's start here. Try to think about a product, any product. There's a pretty good chance that that thing that may be very popular now, used by millions, even billions of people, started as something very specialized for a very specialized group of people. Levi's jeans were originally built for miners in the east coast of the US, and the small rivets were not added for aesthetics, but to make sure that the most exposed stitches wouldn't rip in the grueling mine work. Airbnb is short for Air Bed and Breakfast because it started by offering a bed and some breakfast to attendees of a design conference in San Francisco in 2007. The Rolex Daytona, one of the most iconic watches of all time, and one that today is an unobtainable luxury status symbol, started because some racers in the 1950s wanted to track speed and lap times with a chronograph. Well, this is the first part of the chart right here. Here we have the number of people that use the product, and here we have how much the company invests in those people. And most products start by catering to a hardcore fan base of super early adopters that deeply need that specialized product. See, I was living in London for the past years, and if you go to Oxford Street or Leicester Square, in January you'll see an army of teenagers all wearing the same black North Face jacket. Now, the North Face was started in 1968 by Douglas Tompkins, an avid mountaineer and camping enthusiast, and they made specialized clothing for other expert mountaineers. But the North Face was one of the very limited circle of products and companies that was able to break out. They were able to get through this gap, which not many companies are able to do, and find a much bigger crowd that loved the product. And those teenagers in Leicester Square with a North Face jacket are exactly right here. Now, the North Face still makes the hardcore mountaineering stuff, and they base a lot of their brand on that. They still do care about the hardcore original fan base, but most of their attention, money, and advertisements are on Oxford Street, not at the base camp of Annapurna. And this part right here is the love zone. It's where your product breaks out of that initial base of super hardcore enthusiasts and gets loved by hundreds of thousands, even millions of people. This is where you see companies growing like crazy, huge and loyal fan bases, sometimes even showing more love for the product than the initial user base. For example, this is a Fuji X100V. It's an enthusiast camera and it's loved by the people here because of the technical characteristics of the sensor, the color science, the specs. Me? I'm here. I also love it, but because it just takes incredible photos that need no editing. It lets me capture the moments of my life. It feels really good in the hand and really good to use. This line of cameras became a sensation and it's sold out everywhere. And most of the people buying are not hardcore enthusiasts, they are the people here. They are the people in the majority, they are the people in the love zone. But what happens over and over is that companies attracted by the stupendous profit of this zone try to hack the system and get to the love zone directly. But this is almost always a recipe for disaster. In 2022, CNN spent $300 million to launch their subscription service CNN Plus. They estimated that they would get millions of users, skip this and go all the way to the love zone. But after all this, they managed to get only 10,000 users. Yeah, for $300 million. Now, you can skip this initial phase and go directly for the love zone, but it's extremely difficult. Apple did it with AirPods, and they became an instant mass product, loved by millions of people, but only because they already were an accessory to literally the most successful product in history, the iPhone. And now that we are in the love zone, things should be looking great. Users are happy because they have found a product they love. There's a ton of them, and they are willing to pay you more money than ever. So you can invest in making the product better. What could go wrong? Well, this is the point where things go south, and when the law of the marginal user kicks in. This is Google in 2015. You can see it's still very similar to today, but for example, here you have these handy links to time frame options, the ability to search verbatim, which means the exact keywords that you typed in, and this is Google today. These options still exist, but they are hidden away in this Tools tab. Or take YouTube, Spotify, Instagram, Amazon. Today, they all became a copy of TikTok. And I think we can all agree that we hate this. But if we all hate it, why do these end up getting shipped anyway? Well, the marginal user is the reason why. But before we get to that, let me tell you a quick story while I create something with the sponsor of this video, LTX Studio. When George Lucas was pitching the Star Wars movie in the 1970s, no one cared. It looked too insane of a story until he hired Ralph McQuarrie to create storyboards and visuals for the movie. And with that, he was able to convince 20th Century Fox to greenlight the movie. And it only turned out to be, the most successful movie saga of all time. He always pushed the boundaries on visual effects and the latest technology. He was the first one to really push for digital filmmaking in the 1980s. And now I'm doing the same. I'm generating visuals for an idea of mine for a time travel movie using LTX Studio. It's the professional AI tool for video and animation. It can generate videos from frames and storyboards with an incredible amount of control. And now, thanks to their new model, LTX V13B, you can generate videos 30 times faster than similar models, at a fraction of the price and all ethically sourced from licensed content from Getty and Shutterstock. Try it out for free today in LTX Studio, the home of LTX Video. And now back to the video. So say your best friend started a company, let's say a video editing app called piedpiper.com, and you want to support him, so you invest $50,000 in his company. It's a big investment for you, but hey, he's your best friend. Come on. He starts with an initial hardcore fan base, those that spend all day editing videos and making content. And they love the product so much that he's able to break out of there and get into the love zone. Millions of people, from professionals to amateurs, using the app, and they are getting so much value out of it. The app has a premium version, so he's now making millions of dollars every year for something that solves a true problem. He's in the love zone. Things are looking great. And one day you decide to pay him a visit to the office. And when you ask him how he plans to grow the company, now he drops the bomb. Yeah, we don't plan to grow, really. I'm sorry, what? Yeah, I think we reached basically everyone that could use our app, so that's it. We're not gonna really invest in getting new users. We're improving the app for existing ones, and they'll love it even more. And this is where you get mad. I mean, he needs to grow the company, get more users. If you're not growing, you're dying. And eventually, as every other investor pushes for this, he caves in. He launches new features to make simple videos automatically, to entice those that never edited a video before to join the app. Now, every tech company does so-called A/B tests, where before launching something, they test it. Part of the users will get option A, and part of the users will get option B, and then they measure the results, how much engagement there is. This is why your friend may have a different version of Instagram or Spotify than you. Of course, the people in the love zone hate this change. They don't care about creating sloppy videos automatically, so for them, it's just cluttering the app. But on the other hand, this new feature is a hit in acquiring new users, so they just keep it. They finally then listen to the people in the love zone and they build something new that they've been requesting for ages. New buttons for new kinds of 3D effects. But when they A/B tested, engagement with the app went down because so many people here outside the love zone and all the new users were confused by these. So they end up getting buried in some obscure menu. So as the product grows, there's this larger and larger number of users that don't really care about it, but that end up driving all the decisions for those in the love zone that do really care about the product. YouTube has one of the most loyal and engaged fan bases, people that truly love the platform. YouTube could have built community features, new ways to engage, refresh the mess that is the homepage, but instead what did we get? Shorts. For those in YouTube love zone, myself included, shorts are annoying distractions, but your friend Kyle, that barely watches YouTube, found them easier to watch. So, of course, in the A/B test, shorts won. And again, let's test having 2 rows of shorts now. The people in the love zone, the true users of YouTube, hate that. But damn it, Kyle absolutely loves that. So, of course, here we go. Kyle doesn't give a shit about YouTube. He never watched it. He's not gonna engage in a community or become a creator or pay for premium. Not now, not ever. But YouTube is spending all his efforts and changing the product not to cater to those that love it, but for freaking Kyle. And that's because Kyle is the marginal user. It's the user that they haven't acquired yet, the next one. Facebook doesn't care about their 3 billionth user, but they're obsessed about the 3 billionth plus one user, the next user that they have to acquire, the marginal user, aka King Kyle. Now, if you use Google heavily, these options for time and verbatim are really handy. Hell, Google even has this page for advanced search options. But instead of refreshing this page and making it not stuck in 2007, they went on and did this. And that's because Kyle, the marginal user, is the worst kind of user in the face of the earth. He has no tolerance for complexity or the tiniest bit of friction. Kyle doesn't want to pay for anything or engage in any meaningful way. Instagram might say, oh, we heard that you want more control over what you watch, so here's a new feature to give you control over your scrolling. But no, Kyle is outraged. Another button? The tiniest bit of complexity? No, I don't want that. So of course, in the A/B test, it fails. Also, this spike here, where all the attention of the company on the marginal user is where sales or marketing also live. And their goal is to advertise to Kyle and convince Kyle to become a user. And while consumer products tend to become simpler because of this, dumber and dumber, for business products, the exact opposite happens. When I was working as a product manager at my last tech company, I kept getting the same messages from salespeople.
Hey man, we're very close to signing this contract with Kyle Incorporated. It's a lot of money, but they really need this button of this feature. So you need to build it.
So while consumer products tend to get dumber, B2B business products tend to become a complex mess of 1,000 toggles and features that were requested by 1,000 different Kyle Incorporated companies. The love of the marginal user is the reason we have this nostalgia for products we used to love before they got so popular that they abandoned their love zone user base and started catering only to Kyles. But I have some bad news for you, because the truth is that Kyle is you. Kyle is also me. We are all Kyle. Because the truth is, we are in the love zone for the few products we truly like. But for everything else, we are Kyle. While Jacob Collier spends his days in Logic Pro producing music, I am a Kyle for music production apps. I try them here and there, I don't particularly care about them, and I'm probably never gonna pay for them. But all the features to make them more immediate and simple to use that are annoying Jacob every time he launches the app, well, they're my fault. I'm Kyle. But let's go back to that Instagram example. Well, this is the fix to the biggest problem in social media today. And in designing it, I uncovered the biggest secret behind all the apps you use every day. And you can learn all about it in this video right here. I'm Enrico, and I'll see you in the next one.